There are a whole lot of other problems. Welcome to the Storm Master Weather Report. I am Storm Master Nate. Welcome to YouTube. So, we're doing something different here. We usually do these on Facebook. And something to keep in mind is this is experimental. And we'll see how this works as we get farther deep into this. So that is something to keep in mind as we go through with this. So, hello Mama Storm, welcome to the Storm Master Weather Report. We're trying out YouTube. We're seeing if it's going to work for us as we get this going. So, to start off, temperatures today has been in the mid to upper 60s. Very comfortable conditions. Not too bad at all. I mean, I'm really impressed with what is going on. Let's keep in mind that it is fall season, and these temperatures are pretty normal for this time of year. Mid 60s, definitely. So maybe a touch above average, but not much. We do have storms or rain to talk about this evening, and we're about to show that live on the radar. So give me one moment, and we will show that to you. So give me 1 minute. There we go. Reposition. And this looks good. I like this. I like this a lot. All right. Here's the MRMS. Activate the RMS. We're going to expand the radar a bit. Alrighty. So here's what we have going on. And let's get that storm chaser's name out of here. Rain basically falling across all of North Texas. Had some storms earlier in southeast Texas. Potentially a few severe thunderstorms. Not happening right now. And it looks like that chance is continuing to decrease as these storms are going to head offshore or head off to the east where there is not as much energy for these storms. We also had a little bit of a storm system over here in the Carolinas, a little bit of rain coming in. Doesn't seem to be a big deal, but weather good guys all over the place. All these high pressures, those are the weather good guys. We have another one around our area that is creating the nice weather. By the way, this system right here is going to bring our Halloween rain. Bring the Halloween rain as we go forward. So let's expand this on out a little bit more. There we go. Off to the northwest, in the Pacific Northwest we go. We've had some rain on and off throughout the entire week. Not too bad. Temperatures have been relatively stable in the 50s and mainly cloudy skies. Temperatures, and that will just keep staying the same, essentially. We had some snow yesterday in Colorado and New Mexico. Hello, Jessica Moore. Hello, Mama Storm. Let's get this on shared into Facebook. Let's get this on shared right on into Facebook so we get as many participants as possible. We're just kind of experimenting here. No big weather events going on, so we're just experimenting here. On the West Coast, not a whole lot happening. More of the clearer skies. But we do have storm systems that are incoming in. Let me show you what I mean. So let's go to our NAMS 3-kilometer model to show you what's going to happen later on this evening with this storm system. There we go. Alrighty, thank you. And we will just kind of veer this on off. So showing that now. As you will see, the rain continues to spread off to the east, and it will be mainly a lighter rain, but there is some heavier rain showers with this. Expand this a little bit farther out. There we go. Expanding this on out a little bit. As you'll see, the rain is spreading off to the east, southern Arkansas into northern Louisiana. We skip the rain into Louisiana, and you'll see the rain continuing to spread off to the north. And this is where we start talking Halloween as we get farther into this. So this is Saturday afternoon. Could get a few good thunder boomers along the Mississippi-Alabama state line. The Mississippi-Alabama state line. And you'll see as this pushes off to the north and east, it gets weaker. It gets weaker. So we're just showing mainly on the shower variety, not showing a whole lot. See, so by about this time, about noon Sundays, this is how we're going to see it. Rain showers are going to be around. And this is our main system. We do have another system to look at, and that is over here in the Pacific Northwest, and that is causing the rain in Seattle. As we go forward in this, so this is our main system. That's why we're zooming in. Our main system that's going to cause our trick-or-treating. By the way, Pacific Northwest might as well not even trick-or-treat this year. It looks like it's going to be a rainy trick-or-treat. A rainy trick-or-treat. We'll see how this goes along. Thank you for doing that. I greatly appreciate that. In the GFS model, you will see the rain spreading off to the north. This is Sunday. Sunday by about 2 p.m., it's spreading into the tri-state, and we need to keep an eye, and this is where I'm going to start talking NASCAR. We have a NASCAR race Sunday in Martinsville. I do think they can get the race in because showers will be coming in as this goes farther along. You'll see those scattered showers continuing through Monday, and they're really weakening, really in a weakening fashion. Rain beginning to start up into Louisiana. Now, as you can see with the green areas that we will show you, Pacific Northwest and the West Coast starting to get some more rain early next week. Now it's time to show the temperature pattern, the actual patterns, because, and we'll go back to the actual radar in a minute, but things are going to go on a roller coaster. We're going on a roller coaster here, so keep up. So we'll start with Friday, and with the orange and yellow and some of those reds showing up, that is showing, and this is Friday in the morning, but we're not seeing as much. See, we're warming up a little bit. We're not warming up as much. Watch what happens Saturday, though. We get this warmer air, this yellow, orange, which is temperatures in the 60s and 70s to a main part. It will cool off again before we warm up a little bit on Sunday, not as much because of the rain, but the main area of warmth is going to be this central U.S. I do not see rain getting more into the forecast for a little while in the central U.S. Southern U.S., same way. Chances of rain showers, of course. Monday, colder air overtakes. It's even more warmer still in the central U.S. Also in the western U.S., we are seeing the cooler air. Watch what happens as we get into Tuesday of next week. We have a building ridge that's going to develop. That's why you see that warmer air getting farther into the Dakotas, into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, into Nebraska. Showing this as we go farther along. Here's Wednesday, right? Here's Wednesday of next week, showing that strength of the high pressure. Even borderline a little bit warmer, even warmer temperatures in the Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. we're going to have to watch this area next week for potential of severe thunderstorms. Why is that happening? Well, off to your northwest, there's going to be a cold front that starts rushing in. You'll see it on the map. By Thursday, getting through Kansas City, warmer air still entrenched in most of the eastern U.S., starting to get cooler in the central U.S., colder temperatures in the central U.S., as well as even colder temperatures into the Pacific Northwest and also the Mountain West. This presses off. Now, don't hold this to gospel. This is just from what we're seeing. See how this kind of tries to return up to north. Watch what happens. So there's Sunday. We get a little warmer. We're on the edge of that colder air. And this is just one model. This could change. But that's just what we're seeing. And we're just going to continue to get these ebbs and flows as we go farther along. Snow is going to be a possibility, especially in the Pacific Northwest and the Mountain West. And I'll show that in a minute. And I'll show that as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying watching this as we are talking weather. Let's see here. Going into Sunday, right? Sunday could get some mountain snow. I know it's showing all green, but I'm almost guaranteeing you there's going to be some type of mountain snow that takes over into Oregon, Idaho, and potentially into Nevada and California. And that persists through the couple of days. See, that goes from Monday, or into Sunday, actually. Sunday on through Wednesday of next week, and it just continues. That fire hose of moisture. We can't really show the accumulations yet because this is showing all green. We're still in that time of year. But essentially, that is what you're going to be seeing. Our next graphic we are going to show you is the drought monitor, because the drought monitor came out yesterday, and with these drought monitors, we are looking into how dry it is. And this will spook you a little bit. Yeah, I'm talking Halloween talk a little bit. That it will spook you a little bit. Let me show you why. So as you can see, why is this happening? Well, we have drier than normal conditions pretty much around the United States, except the Northeast. The Northeast is getting unscathed, and the Mid-Atlantic starting to try to go into a drought situation. Legitimate drought into the tri-state, into the Mid-South. Worst area of the United States with it is Oklahoma and Kansas. Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. That's the worst area I've seen. And then also into the western U.S. with California, into Utah, into parts of Nevada, getting even also into the Mountain West, into Montana, into parts of Idaho, showing that potential for a lot of dry conditions. And this is going on for a lot of the U.S., and unfortunately, I expect this to continue. I really do. I really expect this to continue throughout the rest of this month. Definitely. Rest of this month, maybe, and then the next month more than likely. So that is the drought monitor. The next thing I'm going to show you is the Climate Prediction Center outlook. And why do we look at these? These are the kind of the roadmap on what things could be like. Now, they won't exactly be this way, but might want to take a look at this. This is actually very interesting. So what does this show you? Well, if you look into the eastern U.S., you see a fire hose, essentially, of much warmer than average conditions. That's that green, that's that orange, that's that red, that's that pink, that's that even that magenta color. That's very likely to be above average. That's for the first week of November. Look also into the western U.S., especially into southwestern U.S., and including SoCal, including parts of Arizona, including parts of Nevada, but still widespread across the western U.S. Get back to this. Sorry about that. Get back into the western U.S. You'll see as well, we'll shift on over here. This is the precipitation outlook for the first week of November. This is very interesting as well. Why is it very interesting? Because on the eastern U.S., especially the East Coast, from Maine all the way down into the Panhandle of Florida, likely to be possibly leaning below average on the precip. Definitely looking more likely as we get into Boston, as we get into New York City, as we get into more of the interior Northeast. But you'll see this big green area that is likely more possible to likely being above average on the precipitation. Yes, the precipitation. With that precipitation, we are seeing ample amount of moisture. That's why we're seeing this. This is actually good news for this drought situation. So we're going to get some rain eventually. This is valid through the 3rd and the 7th of November. Let's show you the 14-day outlook. This goes even deeper into November. And what do you see? More above average conditions. And I do think at least the first half of November is looking warm. Looking pretty warm. As you can see in the orange and the red, that is likely above average temperatures. That is through November 5th through the 11th. Below average temperatures to near normal conditions in the northern plains, Mountain West, Pacific Northwest, into the western U.S., still leaning with the mostly above average across the U.S. However, we're getting drier again across the southeast and the northeast as well as the mid-Atlantic. But this above normal precip, I do agree with the above normal precip definitely here. It's a little bit more questionable as we get into like Missouri, the heartland essentially. Let's go with the 3 to 4 week outlook, and voila, still seeing, but this is looking more interesting, and I do think sometime around this time frame between the 12th of November and the 25th of November, we're going to see a pattern shift. We're going to start seeing colder conditions in the east and a little bit warmer conditions in the west. It's called the PNA. And I'm still learning more and more about that as we go farther along, but above normal conditions with the precipitation in the Pacific Northwest, that's why you're seeing that green. The drier than normal conditions for this time of year, with the below normal precip outlook. So there you go on that. Let's go to the November outlook. I am very interested to see this November outlook. Hold on a second. Let's zoom out. Scoot it over. There we go. All right. As you will see in this November outlook for temperatures and precipitation, you see the equal chance across the eastern U.S. That's very odd given the fact that it has a lean of way above average. I don't agree with the way above average for the first half of November. I do think sometime within the first 2 weeks of November, we'll see some type of pattern shift that's bringing the colder than normal conditions. And then as we go into the southwest United States, much more above average into the central U.S. as well, especially the southern central U.S., like Texas, like Oklahoma, like Kansas, like even into Nebraska. Precipitation outlook, actually, we're going to start drying up potentially into November. I kind of agree with this, but I kind of don't agree with this because we've been seeing a more consistent severe weather pattern lately. So we'll see how this pans out as we go into the month outlook. They update this basically usually every week to every month. The 3-month outlook still showing the equal chances of above and below normal precip and temperature unless you go into the southern U.S. The southern U.S. warmer than average along with the drier than average. So there you have it on that. All right, let's get on into some of your sports. Tonight, we start off with the World Series. We start off with the Major League Baseball World Series. We will show you that forecast. It is at the Astros. So basically, rain moving out. That is the main key takeaway there. Rain moving out, cold front moving in, cooler conditions will come in as the evening progresses. So I don't see this being a big problem for tailgating, honestly, as we get into later into the evening. It is right now 4:19 p.m. They don't start the game till like 8 p.m. And that'd be 7 p.m. Central. There is still a marginal risk for severe weather today, though, for Houston, but I think they are on their way out. These storms are on their way out. So we'll be okay with that. So that is your MLB forecast. Now let's talk NASCAR. So NASCAR at Martinsville, right? And I was looking at some of the models. We showed you. We showed you what was going on. And I'm thinking they could get this race in. They could get this race in. Now, I will say, depending on the start time, I want to see that start time. What's the start time of that race? I want to see the start time of that race. I'm pretty sure it's 2 p.m. Pretty sure it's 2 p.m. Okay, so 2 p.m. Let's take a look at 2 p.m. And I think the rain should potentially hold off until after 4 or 5 p.m. And then chances for showers. Nothing widespread is expected. So it will be a scattered showers. Temperatures will be in the low 60s. We'll be pretty comfortable for this time of year, given that it's in Martinsville, Virginia. So that is what I'm looking at. Saturday's looking your best day for racing. And then tonight, temperatures cooling into the 50s for the truck series. So the truck series. Should have the truck series. I mean, why not? Why not have the truck series? Should have the truck series. But Xfinity series, temperatures in the mid-60s, small increase in clouds. Won't be a bad day. And then Sunday with a day before Halloween, we get all those good, spooky paint schemes and all that. I'm expecting temperatures in the low 60s. Low 60s in mainly cloudy conditions. All right, now it's time for college game day weather. This is where I pick multiple games. It's where I pick multiple games that people will watch and hopefully enjoy. We had a game earlier this week, NC State, Virginia Tech. It was an interesting game. Not too bad of the weather, actually. So that's good. That's good. Utah beat Washington State. It was a little bit wet, definitely. All right. So the first game that I think is going to be worthy for people to watch, the East Carolina BYU. Where is BYU even located? Where's BYU even located? Provo, Utah. All right, temperatures will be in the 50s throughout this game. Throughout the game, it will be in the 50s, maybe even lower than that. We will have to watch and see how that plays out. So keep that in mind tonight. going in, definitely likely going to go through the 40s and maybe even the 30s with not too bad conditions wise, mostly cloudy, partly mostly cloudy into cloudy skies as the game goes on. All right, Ohio State at Penn State. Temperatures won't be too bad. Actually, temperatures will be in the 60s throughout this game. Very comfortable for for the Nittany Lions versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. So noon kickoff on Fox. A little bit breezy, but it won't be too bad. Pretty warm for this time of year. All right, our next game we are going to take a look at TCU at West Virginia. The clouds will increase as the game goes on, but temperatures remain in the 60s. We may even nudge a 70 potentially at that during that game. And that game is at noon on ESPN. Next, we go to, let's see here, Cincinnati at UCF. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm. It's looking about a 30 or 40% chance. 30 to 40% chance. We'll see how that plays out. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Florida versus Georgia. Gotta get this forecast completely right. For the Jacksonville game. Temperatures will be in the 70s throughout the entire game. Rain unlikely, very unlikely. Chance of a shower, a pop-up shower, or thunderstorm. Probably mainly showers. This game will be at 3:30 p.m. on CBS, Florida versus Georgia. SMU at Tulsa, not a bad game. Temperatures will be in the 70s, potentially getting into the 80s. Not too bad of a game there. That's 3:30 p.m. on ESPN+. All right, next game, we have the Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. Not too bad weather-wise. It will be a little cool, but not too bad. Temperatures into the 60s. Potentially into the 70s. A little bit breezy potentially as well. All righty. Oregon at Cali. I think that's going to be an interesting game, so that's why we're going to talk about it. 3:30 p.m. on FS1. 3:30 p.m. on FS1. And where do they play in California? I'm still trying to learn all these colleges. Temperatures are going to have into the 70s, not too bad. The clouds are going to try to pick up in breezy conditions at about 15 miles an hour. So we went through that game. Kentucky, Tennessee. This game could get a little wet. It depends on the onset of that rain I was stating earlier, but I'm thinking we're going to be fine. With that for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, temperatures are going to cool into the 60s. Increasing clouds with a chance of a late game shower at the nighttime hours. That is 7 p.m. on ESPN. Next game to talk about we have is USC at Arizona. Pretty dry conditions. Temperatures cooling through the 80s, going into the 70s. Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Warmer conditions, not too bad though. Temperatures in the 70s, cooling into the 60s by nightfall. 7:30 p.m. kickoff on SEC Network. Michigan State at Michigan. This will probably be more of a chillier game. Temperatures will be in the low 60s, upper 50s. Into the Ann Arbor, Michigan area. Temperatures into the 50s. Temperatures getting into the 50s. This is a nighttime game. And with that night game right there, We have 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Will be a little bit chilly, a little breezy as well. So that's a rivalry. That's a rivalry. So pay attention to that. All right, our potential two more games of the night. Pittsburgh at North Carolina. Temperatures will be on the 60s, potentially getting into the not 70s. Well, 70s cooling into the 60s, and then probably into the 50s throughout the game. 60s throughout the game, and a little bit breezy out of the south. 8 p.m. on ACC Network. That's Pittsburgh versus North Carolina. Potential rain showers late in the game, like I said, for the Tennessee game as well. Final game of the night, Stanford at UCLA. Temperatures in the mid to low 70s, cooling into the 60s throughout the game. 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. All right, so hopefully you guys have had a good one. We're going to talk about one more thing. Is your NFL weather. But I think we'll be okay. Let me see. We should be okay to do that broadcast on Facebook on Sunday. We should be able to do that. So we're going to wrap this up. Hopefully you guys have had a good evening. Temperatures are going to cool through the 50s into the 40s, potentially into the 30s tonight. It will be a chilly start to your morning, but warm afternoon. That is how fall is working right now. Watching some storm systems for next week. That if you like this type of content on YouTube and you want me to keep doing it on YouTube, give me some likes, give me some subscribes, and ring that notification bell right next to the subscription. So, have a good one, guys. This has been the Storm Master Weather Team. Hopefully you guys have a good one. And that's the bottom line, because the Storm Master said so, taking the world by storm.